Hi, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my matches from the weekend. Really interesting actually. I had a double header this weekend on the Stainy from Kerry Canal. You know, people who read my pieces will know I love going on that canal. It's sort of very fair, competitive match fishing. So this weekend, even though the weather was horrendous, I was really looking forward to it. So I went to the first match, and it was a Sensas International Challenge, which means that we're running a league throughout the year where a series of matches are fished to international float fishing rules. So 13-metre pole limit, you can only top up with one-handed balls of feed after the initial sort of pre-baiting period. Matches are a little bit shorter, 4 hours, but you get 10 minutes at the start to feed your peg. So, you know, if you wish to feed several lines or anything like that, you can take your time and get it right rather than trying to rush it to get in because there's 10 minutes. It was good. It was a good match. I mean, my team's winning the league at the moment, but going on to the Stainy, even though we were confident, there's a lot of good teams in our league, so anything could happen really. I drew peg 164, which is at the start of the match length. The most interesting thing about that area is it's quite bland. There's no boats or anything like that. It's just two lots of piled bank, and you wouldn't really think the fish would be there, but they are there in numbers quite a lot of the time. So what I had to think quite positively, because obviously if you go to the canal like that thinking, oh, it's not a very good bit, or you don't try and feed it in the right way, you're going to get caught out. So I was quite aggressive. I plumbed up two lines, plumbed up a line at around about, it was about 7 metres, which was at the bottom of the far shelf. I didn't just ship out to 7 metres and say that's where I'm going to fish. I actually, 7 metres was halfway along one of my pole sections, so I marked on the pole exactly where I wanted to fish. I chose that spot because it was around about 8 foot deep, which is the deepest bit of the canal really, but it was just before the canal starts to slope back up. So just as the slope's coming down and it starts to level out, about here as it's levelled out, that was the area I was looking to fish. So I found that area there, and then I wanted the same depth on the long line, because if you've got the same depth you can set up 2 or 3 rigs to cover the fishing, but you don't have to set up 2 or 3 rigs for both lines. You can use the same set of rigs. So I found the same sort of depth, which was just before it came up at the far side, and that was around about 12 metres. So even though it was a 13-metre pole limit, I didn't feel the need to fish at 13 metres. I just chose the lines that I felt were right. The other line we fish on the Stainy is right next to your keep net. And I do mean right next to it. I plumb up right alongside it and then just fish just touching bottom with a joker or a single bloodworm. And when the match starts, drop in a small little ball of sort of joker and leam and then catch a few perch. That's the sort of standard approach really. I mean, this year a lot of people haven't been doing it, but there's 2 or 3 of us who have been doing it and getting great starts to the match. So now everybody's sort of doing it because it is such a reliable way to catch a very quick pound, or maybe more. Actually, John Deakin, the Doncaster angler next to me, he started there, and not only did he have a pike at his float, poking his float, he also hooked a £3 plus perch, and unfortunately it broke him just before he got it in. I could sort of stood up to see it, and it was very, very big what he was playing. I felt very sorry for him actually, and the following day John Ibbotson actually caught a perch around that area next to his keep net, over £3. So there is a possibility there of a bonus as well as the smaller perch, so it's definitely a good place to start. I fed 150ml in 3 balls of soil and with a little bit of ground bait. Like I've written about before, the mix I'm using is a little bit of ground bait and then soil added to that. I usually use about this time of year a pint of ground bait, and about 5 pints of soil. And then I put my pint limit of joker in, mixed it together, and I fed 3 balls, about 150ml I've worked out of joker around on that 7 metre line, and then I did the same at 12 metres. But because I wanted to fish there for a little bit longer, I decided to put 4 balls in. So what I mean by that is I could start on the short line, catch some fish, and know there's still a bit of bait out further out. I had a steady match, caught regularly, caught fish quite often. I found that I could catch a better stamp fish by actually putting a little bit of line on the bottom. So I fished a bloodworm or a double joker with a little bit of line on the bottom. It seemed to get through those small fish really quickly, and then I could catch a few. So that was, that was important. Because I felt when I came off bottom the fish were smaller, and I thought that would make a difference. I was catching quite well. I had Darren Bickerton next to me, fantastic angler. He had a great start with some small fish, but I had a couple of better skimmers, sort of 8 ounce, and I felt that was probably nudging me ahead of Darren. But I kept going, and then I had a really good hour. And then with about 30 minutes to go out of nowhere, a horrendous storm with thunder and lightning and gale force winds just appeared. And myself and Tom Scully, the match organisers, decided we had to cancel the match. There was, thunder and lightning. For me, you can't fish in that because it's too dangerous. It's not worth somebody getting injured or worse just to fish another 30 minutes. So we stopped the match with 30 minutes to go, and had a bit of a weigh-in. I had £9.2, which was enough to win the section, which was great. I was really pleased about that. That's maximum points for the team. And then when we got back to results, we had a bit of a mixed bag. Matt Godfrey had come second in his section, good result, but we'd had a couple of poorer results, and actually on the day we were fourth, and 3 Trentman teams managed to sneak in first, second and third, so a bit of a Trentman domination, which they're best not get used to, because obviously we still want to win the league. But at the end of it, we're still winning the league with 43 points. And 47, 48 and 50 points are the next 3 teams, 2 Trentman teams and another Barnsley team. So hopefully with 1 round left we can win the league next time. So yeah, good day all. Iggy won the match with £12. John Freeborn was second next to him with £11. That was down the bottom end. Felt I couldn't have done a lot more than win my section. I think I was a couple of pound clear, so that was, I felt I'd fished a good match, and I look forward to tomorrow when I'm going to go back to the Stainy and see how we get on.